Hey everybody, this is James with WSTrades.com. I want to provide an update here on a few trending tickers and also talk about a new trade that I got into. So first, I want to talk about ticker SBFM or Sunshine Biopharma Inc. Looking at some of the recent news stories here, it says Sunshine Biopharma says mRNA molecules effective against multi-drug resistant cancer cells. Shares surge. So definitely some good news there for the company and for the stock. You see this insane explosion from about $2.50 almost up to $7. Had a little bit of a drawdown and a pullback, but it bounced nicely off the $5.10 level several times. You've got it here, 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 and here. This is all on the 15-minute time frame. So definitely a key level there. I would say that 510, if the sellers send this thing down back towards that 510 level, see what happens there. If the sellers are able to crush it below that and close it below that on this 15-minute time frame, I think that's a good short entry. I think it'll see a significant drawdown there. And then to the upside, you've got, hard resistance here at around 680. But then you can even see it's just on this time frame making slightly lower highs. So if I actually threw up a trend line here, you could kind of track it like this. Yep, about like that. So you can see the first barrier, that we're going to have to break through if the buyers start to pump this thing again is around $6.05. You've got a couple rejections at that level there, and then a little higher up, here's where you've got some resistance at 636, and then all the way up here at about 660. So definitely some key levels to the upside. If the bulls can get back into this thing and start to pump this thing, break through this trend line, you've got a few levels to look at to the upside here if it can get above and close above. If the buyers can pump this thing above that 660 level and close it above that, I think that's a great sign for the stock, and I think it's going to rip hard if it can break that barrier to the upside. Just some key levels there to look at to the downside and also to the upside. Another ticker here I was looking at was SAVE or Spirit Airlines. So I don't think I was looking at the 15-minute time frame here. Let's see. Well, maybe I was because the move is just so insane. I think the larger time frames just kind of look like not a ton going on. Let's check out the weekly here. Well, actually, the weekly is a little better. So it closed at 26.92 yesterday. Now you can see it's trading a little lower. Futures are down pretty big right now, pre-market. So it's going to open a little bit lower here than it closed. Quite a bit lower, actually, maybe about $1, a little over $1. So the weekly kind of shows that this level here around 26.70 is really key, which it was just above that yesterday. So definite barrier to the upside there around that level, around 26.70, maybe even $27. You can see a few challenges of that level here on this time frame. And then it had sold off in the past. And then to the downside, definitely that $20 level is key. And that's where it recently rallied really hard. So right here, before it went on this insane run, you see it bounced really nicely off of that $20 level, and you see several rejections here, 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 and here. So a lot of rejections of that 20 level in the past here on the weekly. And then again, you see up here around that 26.70 I was talking about, and then a little higher up here around 27.37 or so. So definitely some key levels to keep an eye on here as this thing has been kind of trading within a range. See, once it dumped here, this is back in July, on this candle right here, it's really been trapped within a range between about $28 and $20. Just kind of been chopping around. Could have had some good swing trading opportunities within there. So as this thing backs off a little bit, markets are pretty weak. Let's kind of see if this thing is going to go down and start to trek back down towards this $20 level, or maybe, look about halfway. Let's head into the 1 hour again. Yeah, so on the 1 hour, let's kind of see. This was a pretty insane rip from, about $20 all the way up to $28, almost $29. So let's kind of see as this thing dies off and kind of retraces. Will it stop somewhere in between? Maybe it'll hit a 50% retracement, 61.8% retracement here, and maybe buyers will step back in and start to blast that off. If you throw up the fib levels here, those could be some key levels to look at to see if maybe the buyers step back in at 50%. Maybe they step back in at 61.8%. If the buyers don't step in at that 61.8% level, I would look for this thing to retrace at least down to about $23. Let me actually throw that up really quick so you guys can see it instead of just talking about it. But there's your run right there. So, it's about at a 38.2% retracement right now. I'm looking here around 50%, which would be about 24.90, or maybe 61.8%, which would be 23.98. Those are two levels I'm keeping an eye on to see if the buyers get back into this thing and start to pump it. As you know, some profit taking has come in and this thing has started to die off a little bit. So keep an eye there. Also, another ticker I was looking at here was HYLN. Let's kind of take a look at some of the larger time frames. Not a ton going on the larger time frames. Let's see the daily. Then let me look at the 1 hour and the 15-minute. Yeah, so on this one, this is the 100-day exponential moving average I've thrown up on my chart, and you can see that it's definitely playing off that pretty well as a dynamic resistance. You've got a little bit of a fake out here. This was back in June, sold off, continued to trek below it. A nice challenge here in November, again rejection, and now it's really approaching that level again. So let's zoom in a little bit here. So to the downside, 350 or so looking pretty key. As this thing is kind of trekking up, this thing crossed over actually did a MACD crossover on the daily here. This is way back in February, and you can see all this consolidation. So definitely the buyers kind of stepped into this thing and are trying to support it, and made a nice break above a level here around 436. But what I'd really like to see this thing do is really go up and re-challenge this 100-day exponential moving average. Just because it has been using that as a dynamic resistance for so long. I think that's a key level. I would like to see that break. And then this candle right here, we're looking at about 462. We're really close to that right now. Closed at 452 yesterday. So a couple things here. 462 level, I want to see on this daily time frame, this thing blast through that, close above that level, and then also blow through this 100-day exponential moving average. I think if those two things could happen, this is going to be a very good sign for the stock. If it can break this 462 level or so right here, I think it's got the ability to go all the way up to maybe around here, maybe 583 or so. I think that could be a next stop. If we could get, above that 462 level, I think it's got some decent room to run and then start looking around, this 580, 585 level or something in there. And then to the downside, again, since this thing has been in a long-term downtrend, more consolidation lately, but overall a downtrend on this time frame. Key level, again, to the downside is around 350. If this, if the sellers start to come into this thing starts to move away from that 100-day EMA again and approaches this 350, that's going to be a key level I'm looking at. If it closes below that, I think that's a good short entry because the sell-off and the downtrend is just going to continue. Then also MULN or Mullen Automotive. Okay, was looking at this one here and I see a little trend line there, so let me go into the 15-minute. Yeah, this is the time frame I was looking at. So a big move here from about 220, 225 up to 350. And then it had a little bit of a sell-off there, bounced and started to reject again. So you see big wick here, big wick here, big wick here. It rejects this downtrend line again, approaches it again here, doesn't quite get there, and continues to sell off again. So yeah, not really seeing anything on this time frame right now that is telling me to go long. It looks like it's going to break through a key level here, or has broken through a key level here on the 15-minute time frame to the downside. You can see there around 260. It was trying to support that level, and now this thing is moving, in the mid 250s right now. So the way it's looking to me, I don't see anything on this time frame to tell me to go long. if the buyers do step back into this thing and start to rally it, I want to see it get above this 260 level. I want to see it get back above this 265 level right here. Maybe bust this moving average and bust through this downtrend line. I think that would be key and a good sign that, things are kind of turning around. You look at the MACD, and the MACD has just crossed under actually here on the 15-minute. So, definitely falling through a key level there. MACD has crossed under. RSI looks like it's heading back down to the oversold level. So definitely hanging out right now, not making a long entry on MULN at this time, especially with futures down so big. Today could be pretty ugly. Let's see what happens. I also wanted to talk about a new trade that I got into, and it was actually on AT&T. So next time, this is ticker symbol T or AT&T. Last time I got into AT&T, I cannot remember. I want to say it was around this same level, around $25 or $26. Just looking at the longer time frames, they had just been beat down for so long. And I grabbed some shares and I sold a call against the shares, did a covered call, and it worked out for me. My shares got called away, so I made a nice little profit. And then I was talking to Larry yesterday about AT&T again, pulled up the chart, and I was just like, this price is still just so cheap. I think I'm going to pick up some more shares, maybe sell a call against them, or, maybe just hang out and see if I can capture a little bit more profit here. For the most part, this thing has been beat down and in a downtrend, even here on the 3-year weekly time frame here. Definitely not a sign of strength, with a peak up here, a rejection here, and just kind of overall continuing to work lower. As of late, though, you do see, I think this is what I was seeing on the weekly as well, was it seemed to make a higher low here. You had a bottom out here around 2202. Then it made a nice run up above 27, but then it had another big pullback, but then trying to bounce off of that level. So trying to make a slightly higher low here. That's kind of what I saw, but again, the price is at such a big discount right now. If you're looking back at the start of this chart, thing was trading around $39, $40. So to get in at, $23, $24, I'm still liking that price. I'm probably just going to hang out and wait for these guys to make a nice little run like we saw here and then take profit. So I'll continue to keep you guys updated on any new trades I get into, any closing trades, and also any trending tickers in the markets. Please like this video. Please also subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch this. Talk to you soon.